مركز كويس. جايب كل حاجة. في زي في عندنا وحدة الجينوم التشخيصية خاصة بالببليك. عندنا طبعا سيريس وحدة الجينوم خاصة بالمجتمع. تقريبا كانت بدأت تقريبا 13 خدمة سوفار في الجينوم التشخيصي. الحمد لله ماشي على طبعا مركز الابتكار الناس قاعدين يسكنوا يطلع لهم
الشهادة اسم العالم في أمراض القلب الرابعة والمرض
شفتهم قبل كده
متعاونين في الرياض. تعمل بي سي ار إضافة للنيتروجين الثاني
الكبير. فين الأخ ياسر من الشباب حق مكتب الهيئة في جدة موجودين اليوم. حنقدم مبادرة دعم البحث العلمي والفسح السريع للمنتجات البحثية. اليوم حنقدم البروبوزل ونبغى ناخذ الفيدباك حق الناس حول الموضوع.
يعني لكل الطلاب والمعلومات
ريسيرش في موديول خاص حيكون للريسيرش.
برضه ده عبد الله فؤاد. نعم.
شايف صفة خارج صار انه ما شاء الله نشاط الشركات بيتزايد. ده القسم الطبي في القسم الطبي
مسؤولين عن الموضوع
بالتحديد في الميديكال ديفايس. الميديكال ديفايس اللي زي ما انت شايف
يبقى بس كده اللفة سريعة عند المصدر تاخذ فكرة عامة.
معظمها حد بروفيشنال في بعضها ستودنتس في انا عندي كذا من البي اتش دي ستودنتس مشاركين في بوسترات. احنا بنحاول الان طلاب دراسه طلاب البكالوريوس يخشوا على اساس انه يخشوا في مؤتمر مثلا طلاب من الجامعه الحقيقيه يعني من صغرهم زي يقولوا من سنه رابعه.
حطيناها في البروسيدنجز حقتنا بس ما رسلونا البوستر. طبعا دكتور
دكتور عبد العزيز تعرف عن السوبر لا عندنا السوبر كمبيوتر بدأ جامعة الملك عبد الله
في شاهين جامعة في سلام عندنا حكاية. سلام طبعا هو على من الأزرع.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الكريم المنان ذي الفضل والإحسان. سبحانه رفع الذين آمنوا والذين أوتوا العلم درجات، والصلاة والسلام على خير معلم سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، راعي حفلنا الكريم سعادة وكيل الجامعة للدراسات العليا والبحث العلمي الأستاذ الدكتور عدنان زاهد، أصحاب السعادة وكلاء الجامعة الكرام، عمداء الكليات الأفاضل، سعادة عميدة شجرة الطالبات، أعضاء هيئة التدريس الكرام، أيها الحفل الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. فبأجمل التراحيب وأبهاها يسر اللجنة المنظمة للمؤتمر الجينيوم الثالث أن تحييكم في هذا اليوم، حيث يعتبر المؤتمر العلمي فرصة للقاء نخبة من الدكاترة والعلماء من مختلف دول العالم، وذلك لتبادل الأفكار والخبرات وكل ما يستجد من جديد في مجال علم الجينيوم الطبي، حيث سيكون معنا متحدثين محليين ودوليين من جزء مختلف من العالم، ومناقشة كل ما يستجد من العلم والانضمام معا لإعطاء أحدث المعلومات والتحديثات المتعلقة بالجوانب المختلفة لحل ومعالجة المشاكل الهامة على الصعيد الوطني باستخدام أنظمة الجينيوم وعلوم الوراثة والتطويرية وكذلك العلوم البيولوجية الجزئية. حفلنا الكريم اليوم نزهو ونفخر بهذا الغرس المبارك في عامه الثالث، وقد آتى أكله بإذن ربه، وسددت جهود القائمين عليه، ونضجت باكورة ثمره. خير ما نبدأ به حفلنا اليوم آيات من القرآن الحكيم مع الأستاذ حسن نائب.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. الله يعلم ما تحمل كل أنثى وما تغيض الأرحام وما تزداد، وكل شيء عنده بمقدار. عالم الغيب والشهادة الكبير المتعال، سواء منكم من أسر القول ومن جهر به، ومن هو مستخف بالليل وسارب بالنهار، له معقبات من بين يديه ومن خلفه يحفظونه من أمر الله. إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم، وإذا أراد الله بقوم سوءا فلا مرد له، وما لهم من دونه من وال. هو الذي يريكم البرق خوفا وطمعا، وينشئ السحاب الثقال، ويسبح الرعد بحمده والملائكة من خيفته، ويرسل الصواعق فيصيب بها من يشاء، وهم يجادلون في الله وهو شديد المحال. صدق الله العظيم.
أعزائي الحضور، يهدف مركز التميز البحثي في علوم الجينوم الطبية إلى أن يكون مركزاً متميزاً في أبحاث الجينوم، وأن يكون مواكباً للنهضة الطبية من خلال إجراء البحوث الأساسية والتطبيقية المطابقة للمعايير الدولية لمكافحة الأمراض الوراثية والأمراض السرطانية الشائعة في المملكة العربية السعودية. وقد قام المركز مؤخراً بالبدء في برنامج بحثي مهم في مجال الصيدلة الجينية واكتشاف الأدوية لدراسة تأثير التغيرات الجينية على فعاليات الأدوية المضادة للسرطان في سكان المملكة العربية السعودية. الكلمة الآن لسعادة مدير مركز التميز البحثي في علوم الجينوم الطبي، سعادة الدكتور محمد بن حسين القحطاني.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله نبي الهدى محمد ابن عبد الله عليه أفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم. سعادة وكيل الجامعة للدراسات العليا والبحث العلمي بروف عدنان زاهد، سعادة نائب رئيس المدينة الملك عبد العزيز للعلوم والتقنية الدكتور عبد العزيز سويلم، أصحاب السعادة، الوكلاء والعمداء، الأخوة والأخوات أعضاء هيئة التدريس، العلماء الباحثين والباحثات، وضيوفنا الأجلاء الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا بكم في المؤتمر الدولي الثالث الذي ينظمه مركز التميز البحثي في علوم الجينوم الطبي، ويسعدني أن أستهل حديثي بالشكر الجزيل لكل من ساهم وأسهم في فكرة انعقاد هذا المؤتمر، وأخص بالذكر إدارة الجامعة ولجان التنظيم المختلفة والشركات الداعمة. ونحن نفتتح فعاليات هذا المؤتمر نستحضر خلفيات تبلور فكرة إنشاء مركز التميز البحثي في علوم الجينوم الطبي، ونظرا لتعدد اهتماماته بدعم كل فروع المعرفة في مجال الجينوم، لاحت فكرة عقد مؤتمر دولي شامل بشكل دوري يدعم كل العلماء الباحثين والباحثات من داخل المملكة وخارجها من أجل تعزيز أواصر التعاون والتعارف العلمي وخلق رفاهية معرفية وحوارية راقية. لذا فقد اخترنا العديد من المواضع الحديثة في مجال الجينوم الطبي وتطبيقاته، وكذلك سوف يتم تنفيذ العديد من ورش العمل التي ترتكز على سمة التبادل المعرفي وتجاوز سلبيات شخصنة البحوث والعمل على تذويب التباعد بين المؤسسات البحثية وتشجيع العمل الجماعي والاستفادة من كل ما هو جديد والعمل على نقل التقنيات الحديثة في مجال تطبيقات الجينوم الطبي من أجل بناء جيل ومجتمع معرفي أصيل يقدر قيمة العلم ويؤطره من أجل تحقيق قيمة الإنسان. وفي الختام، إن طموحاتنا وليدة آمال تتحقق اليوم ما كان مستحيلا بالأمس، ولينجز غدا بإذن الله ما هو مستحيل اليوم. أتمنى لكل مشاركين طيب المقام وأكرر شكري لكل من شارك، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
حفلنا الكريم، إن التوجه الذي تتبناه قيادتنا الرشيدة بتوجيه من خادم الحرمين الشريفين الملك سلمان بن عبد العزيز وولي عهده والنائب الثاني حفظهم الله في دعم البحث العلمي وتوطين التقنيات المتقدمة قد أسهم بشكل مباشر في تعضيد بنية الاقتصاد الوطني المبنية على التنوير المعرفي والتنمية المستدامة. ولا شك أن إنشاء مركز التميز البحثي في علوم الجينوم بجامعة المؤسس إضافة تهدف إلى الارتقاء العلمي والبحثي وتحقيق الريادة العالمية في التخصصات العلمية. الكلمة الآن لسعادة وكيل الجامعة للدراسات العليا والبحث العلمي الأستاذ الدكتور عدنان زاهد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وخاتم النبيين والمرسلين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سعادة أخي الدكتور عبد العزيز بن محمد السويلم، عبد العزيز بن محمد السويلم، نائب رئيس مدينة الملك عبد العزيز للعلوم والتقنية لدعم البحث العلمي، ضيوفنا الأجلاء، ضيفاتنا الجليلات، أصحاب السعادة، أعضاء هيئة التدريس، أيها الجمع الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. نلتقي اليوم في رحاب جامعة المؤسس، جامعة الملك عبد العزيز، وفي مركز من أعرق المراكز البحثية في الجامعة، مركز التميز البحثي في علوم الجينوم الطبي، مركز تحمل عبء الخوض المتعمق في بحار علوم الجينوم الطبي، محققا الإنجاز تلو الإنجاز، مما أهله أن يكون في صدارة المراكز البحثية على مستوى المملكة من خلال ما اكتسبه من مكانة علمية وعالمية مرموقة. أيها الجمع الكريم، إن هذه الإنجازات التي حققها المركز لهي نواة جيدة لإنشاء معهد الجينوم الطبي بالجامعة، فضلاً عن أن هذه الإنجازات هي مؤشر واضح لما بذله القائمون على المركز من جهود من خلال أكفأ العلماء والخبراء في مجالات الجينوم الطبي، وصولاً بالمركز إلى العالمية بإذن الله تعالى. أيها الحفل الكريم، إن المؤتمر سانحة طيبة لكل الأطراف من حيث التلاقح الفكري والتبادل العلمي والوقوف على أحدث المستجدات في عالم الجينوم الطبي من خلال هذه المشاركات العلمية الفاعلة التي بلا شك ستثري فعاليات المؤتمر عبر هذه الأوراق والأبحاث والدراسات العلمية المتميزة. ضيوفنا الأجلاء، ضيفاتنا الجليلات، نقدر لكم جميعا هذا الحضور المتميز للمشاركة في هذا المؤتمر الحيوي. مرحبا بكم جميعا في جامعة الملك عبد العزيز، سائل المولى عز وجل أن يوفقكم جميعا في مساعيكم العلمية، وأن تكلل هذه الجهود بنجاح هذا المؤتمر. والشكر والتقدير لكل من أسهم في الإعداد والتنظيم لهذا اللقاء العلمي، وعلى رأسهم سعادة مدير المركز ومنسوباته. سائل الله أن يحقق المؤتمر أهدافه المنشودة، وأن يحقق المركز مزيدا من النجاحات العلمية، متمنيا لكم التوفيق والسداد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
حفلنا الكريم، وفي الختام يتفضل مدير مركز التميز البحثي في علوم الجينوم سعادة الدكتور محمد القحطاني بهدية تذكارية لمعالي مدير الجامعة سعادة الأستاذ الدكتور عبد الرحمن اليوبي المكلف، يستلمها نيابة عن البروف عدنان زاهر. وأيضا هدية تذكارية لراعي حفلنا سعادة الأستاذ الدكتور عدنان زاهر. وفي الختام يطيب لنا أن نتقدم بالشكر الجزيل لراعي حفلنا وللنجا المنظمة لما بذلوه من جهد في افتتاح هذا الملتقى العلمي. وسوف نبدأ بالجلسة الأولى بإذن الله. Dear ladies and gentlemen, today the world is all about science, technology, innovation, and creativity, where interdisciplinary interaction is the fundamental catalyst. In order to initiate crossroad reforms, the Center of Excellence in Genomic Medicine had a clear vision from day one. That was to have comprehensive impact across Saudi Arabia and abroad instead of adopting cosmetic solutions. This gathering today reflects our resilience and enhances that even in difficult times and changing global demographics. We are keen on continuous to promote cutting-edge research with our national and international partners. With this, I would like to welcome Professor Dr. Adil Chaudhary, Vice Director of CGMR, to kindly host the first session scientific. Thank you and have a good day.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good morning, everybody. It's nice to have you all over here. Without spending much time, I would like to invite our first speaker this morning. He is PhD in biotechnology and genetic engineering from the University of Sheffield that he obtained in 1999. Currently serving as Vice President for Scientific Research Support at King Abdulaziz City for Science and Technology, which you may all know is the biggest funding body in Saudi Arabia, rather in the region. He is Director of Life Science, Natural Resource and Biotechnology Research in the Center in CAXT since 2010. He has contributed in numerous research projects in field of genomics, proteomics, biosafety, and genetic modifications. He has authored numerous scientific reports and articles in biotechnology, genetic engineering, and bioethics. He was selected as advisor for UNESCO and World Intellectual Property Organization. He is chairman of the International Governmental Bioethics Committee, UNESCO. He is chairman of National Committee of Bioethics in Saudi Arabia. And of course, he has given numerous lectures in the country and across the world. Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, kindly welcome Professor Abdulaziz Aswelem.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين. Thanks Dr. Adil, and I'm really glad to be here in this third international conference and this important subject, and for me it's the second time to be here, and I always honored to be part of you and also contribute in this kind of discussion. Dr. asked me to provide this presentation. And I spent the last night trying to collect what I can from my previous presentations to share with you some of our activities. Okay, what I'll try to go through this quick presentation, it's just to link our past to our future. Then I'll present our first 4 Ds, which is essential in our strategy. Then I'll go to another 4 Ds, which is 4 dimensions. We are working at King Abdulaziz City for Science and Technology, which is related to the implementation. The first 4 Ds strategy, the second 4 Ds implementation. Then I'll select 4 Ks, which is key performance indicators, to show where we are and what we achieved so far. But before I go through that, let me just link the past with the future. I would like to say that there is a waves of translation started from the 2nd century, when the first wave of translation started at school of Edessa. Then another wave of translation, the Judicibar, which is the 6th century, and then the 3rd wave and 4th and so on. So there are waves of translation, and after each wave, science, technology, and innovation transferred from generation to another generation and from nation to another nation. What I would like to say here, once we translate certain knowledge to our language, then we start to explicate and comment in this translated information. Then we start to criticize and add, and this will end up with new innovation. And when we take Ibn al-Haytham as an example, Ibn al-Haytham, he started, once he gained the others' information, then he created his new theories related to the light, and that's why he was selected by UNESCO for the year of the light as the year of Ibn al-Haytham. But there is a pools of knowledge, and those pools of knowledge accumulated around different languages, and we cannot force all of our community to learn from different languages, but also the knowledge generated within our community need also to be integrated with other languages to assure that we can exchange, learn, and also gain the knowledge from others. And that's why this knowledge gap, it might be wider and wider if we cannot bridge those gaps by translating the others' knowledge to what we already have. And we believe that there is no language, no religion, no gender, and there's no borders even for knowledge and innovation, but it requires the active people to generate the knowledge. It's a very long process, and the real effect will appear in the next generations and maybe not in the current generation. Having said that, this just to clarify that when we start our journey in research, development, and innovation, this journey also should be transferred to all the community. And that's why in our strategy we need the research funding stability, and to assure that we have the sustainable activity, we have to look to the strategies, priorities, resources, research areas, development, and the whole ecosystem. Once we have all of this collected together, we can end up with the proper strategy. We don't have only one strategy here in Saudi Arabia. We have many strategies. We have strategy for education, we have another strategy for higher education, and we have strategy for science, technology, and innovation, which we call it Ma'rifa, and we have strategy for industry, for science parks, and for general investment strategy. About 14 strategies collected together to assure that we can shift our economy from oil-based economy to knowledge-based economy, and this is not an easy task, and it requires a lot of initiatives and activities. I would like to select the science, technology, and innovation strategy, and which is made in different steps. We just concluded the first phase of our strategy, and now we are about to start the second phase of strategy, which is Ma'rifa 2, and Ma'rifa 2 will highlight certain areas. And we set up goals for each stage in our strategies to assure that by the end of our strategy, we can link and join the international innovation, and we can generate income throughout our research and development. The idea, as public organization, we fund research activities at universities. We take money to generate knowledge. The idea now, how can we use knowledge to make revenues to our activities? And this is the real sustainability in our activities. So the research funding goes to assure that we support the infrastructure at universities and research centers, to assure that we promote the diversification of the national economy by linkage the research output and the companies towards the industrial diversification as well. The capacity building and contribution to the training the younger generation, and to raise the scientific awareness as well in our community. In our next phase in our strategy, we have different programs, and those programs started from the basic research program to the innovation research program, national programs, research development tools programs, and the tools and technology transfer programs. Those are the main programs, and all of these programs shield with the mega projects which are related to the human resources program, science, technology, and society program, and the financial resources, and end up with the management. Because without management, we cannot assure the proper implementation of our strategy, and those are the main programs in our strategy. So now I'd like to come to my first 4Ds. The first 4Ds, which is related to the innovation cycle. We develop, we discover, develop, and deliver, and we end up with deploy. Those are the main 4Ds we need to implement to assure what we have in our labs will end up with our users. Otherwise, there will be a huge gap, and which is called the valley between the research and development. Yes, we know that the deployment, it's not CAC's responsibility. We need to link it with other organizations and ministries. However, we need to link, also state it very clearly in our strategy. So again, our first 4D is how to discover, develop, deliver, and deploy, and we link all of these together. We cannot do that without also another chain of to provide the discovery to our society, and that's by link our top institutes, organizations with the top institutes and organizations internationally to assure that we link ourselves with the cutting-edge technologies to assure that we can transfer technology and develop the technologies. We need also to assure that we can discover, that we can provide our society with the right information, in the right time, in their language, which is the third right. And those three rights to our society forced CACs to assure that we have the proper information provided in our websites to assure that our young generations and also the specialized people, they can read the science technology in their own language. Last week, we integrated with the Minister of Education 2 initiatives by CACs. The first one was 20 في 20, which means 20 students in 20 schools. And this is a dedicated program to fund research activities at high school, to assure that even our students at high school, they can get fund, and also they can do research with collaboration with different researchers and scientists. And the other initiative is the future scientists, to assure that we have all the supply chain as a future scientist. And we provide the community with a list of publications. My second 4Ds, which is related also to our strategy, is 4 dimensions. The first dimension is the product, the second dimension research, the third one institute, and the fourth one is implementation. And to assure that we can link all of these dimensions together to end up with the proper strategy. The product space, we analyze what we have exactly in our product chain, and how can we select the right product to invest on, and based on that, we can go back and identify which are the top priority in our research activities. And this is a map of the product research. It was published by Professor Hidalgo in Science, and we used this to analyze what do we have in Saudi Arabia. In 1980, this was our product space, just one single circle. 2012, we have a kind of distribution in our products. However, most of these are related to the oil as well. So we need to diversify our product space. If you would like to compare it, we can compare it with Saudi Arabia, 2012, which is in the top left corner. We can compare it with South Korea, Germany, and the United States, and to know exactly where we are headed. What are the best products to be selected? Once we select the right products, then we can draw back what needed based on research. So to develop certain products, we need also to build up the clusters of research activities based on that to assure that we can end up with certain products. And this is the research space. And we used also UNESCO classification of fields and subfields of science. And this is our research space in 1996. We have good distribution. However, we need also to be more and more expanded based on our product. And this is our research space in 2012. We collected a huge amount of research activities, proposals, papers, patents, to analyze all of these to end up with this figure, to know exactly what are our research activities. Again, we need also to expand more to assure that all of our research space is linked with our product space, so at the end of the day, we will not fund any research activities if it's not linked with our product space. Again, for those who would like to compare, this is South Korea in 1996, Saudi Arabia 1996, South Korea 1996. And also this is South Korea 2012, and you can see as well, we use South Korea as a benchmark in our strategy just for the comparison. Our third D, which is the institutional space. And in this space, we need to assure that we have certain institutes that are responsible for the priorities, settings, funding, another set of institutes for the human capital, knowledge development, third set of institutes for the basic and applied research activities, and then the fourth one for the innovation and commercialization knowledge. And how can we link all of these institutes together to assure that we can end up with a very good harmonization between different organizations, and based on this harmonization, we can assure they will shift also all of our research activities to end up with our product, and this is our real institutional space. This is the national institutional space. The core is Ma'rifah, the strategy, and is distributed around all of these together. We put all of these 4 spaces together, the product space, the research space, institutional space, and we link it with certain KPIs, and those indicators will assure that we can shift from one stage to another stage until we end up with our products. And we define different research activities, started from the knowledge-driven research to innovation research, frontier research, and so on, and you can find all of these in Ma'rifah activities. I'd like to spend about a few seconds here. And this is the base of our activities, which is the technology readiness level. All of our activities will be based on the technology readiness level. level, because we would like to end up with products, and those products will be relied on the technology readiness level, and that's why we classify different organizations and activities based on the technology readiness level, and to assure we can shift from one level to another level, we created the research projects for the applied research. We created the incubators in different universities and institutes, and we announced Jeddah incubator 1 month ago, so now we have another incubator here in Jeddah, and we link it with technology companies like Taqniya and Jeddah Valley and Riyadh and Dhahran companies, which was created under the umbrella of universities. So we have the goal-driven research activities, and all of these research activities will be linked with the product. So in our next phase of Ma'rifah, each single proposal, I mean the applied research activities, should be linked with the product, and the product also needed to be linked with the investors or certain companies to assure that we have this strong collaboration with the industry and research activities. We also revise our governance regulation, especially those related to the structure of business model and developing new key performance indicators, and also the information related to that. We also revise our management, especially this which is related to the supply chain, because we know it's one of the main issues, and thanks for our colleagues at Saudi FDA, because now we developed very strong activities with our colleagues at Saudi FDA. We also developed our regulations related to bioethics, biosafety, clinical trials, and biodiversity, and all of the regulations which will assure that we can make our activities in the proper way. Some figures, now we can see how Saudi Arabia is growing in a very fast way in terms of publications, and based on the Nature Index, publication index, Saudi Arabia now is the first country in the Islamic and Arabic countries in terms of the high quality research activities. Saudi also academic patent filing activities, now it's growing very fast way after we started and launched the Ma'rifah programs. And I take also one example, those top Arabic and Islamic countries granted patent from US Patent Office. Now we can see Saudi Arabia among the top countries also granted patent from United States Patent Office. Based on the Innovation Index, also Saudi Arabia is among the top Islamic and Arabic countries within the Innovation Index, and Saudi Arabia is ranked number 43, and also within its region it's in very good ranks based on this ranking activities. We spend a lot in our research activities, and we spend about 6.6 billion Saudi riyals to fund research activities. Yes, we know that there is a delay in the last few batches, and this is under discussion with the Ministry of Finance to assure that we'll overcome this problem, and we have different scenarios to go around this, and it will be discussed also in our meeting next week in the supervisory committee, which is related to Ma'rifah. Well, and that's why maybe your computers. Well, I think this might be my last slide, or about to be my last slide, but I'd like to say that CACS will continue funding research activities. We have our new strategy, and we need also a very strong contribution from our colleagues. We'll maintain and keep the high quality research activities. We'll maintain and keep the very high profile reviewing activities. And thanks for our colleagues at the AAAS, those who collaborating with us in revising our research activities. And finally, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Mohammed Qahtani, and your colleagues, Dr. Adil, Dr. Madouh, and Dr. Adil and others, inviting me and keep me in touch with my colleagues here at King Abdulaziz University.
Thank you very much for a very remarkable talk, presentation. I'm sure there are lots of questions and lots of discussions that could be initiated, but time does not allow us to do that at the moment. We'll move on to our next speaker. He's director of the post-award department at the Qatar National Research Fund. In 2008, he was appointed as the director of civil and environmental engineering programs at the QNRF, member of the Qatar Foundation for Education, Science, Community and Development. After his BSc from Tunisia, he continued his academic career at several universities in Canada, United States, Switzerland and Belgium. Obtained master's degree in civil engineering, hydrolysis and water resource management. He obtained his PhD finally from KU Leuven, Belgium, in civil and environmental engineering in the field of climate change and modeling. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly welcome Dr. Omar Al-Farouk Bukhris.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Professor Muhammad Al-Qahtani, Director of Center of Excellence in Genomic Medicine Research. Professor Adil Abu Zinada, Director of Center of Innovation and Personalized Medicine. And Dr. Abdulaziz Suwailam, Vice President, King Abdulaziz City of Science and Technology. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Omar Al-Farouk Bukhris. I'm coming to you from your colleagues in Qatar, namely from the Qatar National Research Fund, a member of the Qatar Foundation. I may need maybe your help, please. So meanwhile, the colleagues contacted me. Thanks for inviting me for this conference. So the colleagues asked me to highlight the currently available and future funding opportunities enabled through the Qatar National Research Fund in Qatar Foundation. This is going to be an interesting topic for the colleagues locally based and also internationally based. So allow me to go quickly through little information about Qatar Foundation for those of you who don't know about us. So we have mainly three pillars in the Qatar Foundation in Qatar: education, community development, and R&D. We're going to target the R&D, as you know. So in education, we have local and international based institutions, engineering, Texas A&M, Qatar, Virginia, Commonwealth, while Cornell in the medical field, all of them have campuses based in the education city in Doha, in Qatar. Community development, there is plenty of activities where we want to maintain the local heritage of Qatar and of the regions. And mainly is the research and development, where the government has dedicated mainly 2.8% of its revenue to the R&D. This is a quite substantial amount for this region. And this is showing a strong commitment from the leadership of Qatar. In 2012, exactly, there had been a big exercise down there in Qatar called the Qatar National Research Strategy. Prior to that, we used to fund projects driven by investigators. So the aim in phase one, if I may say so, was to build capacity and to bring collaboration and to have international visibility and recognition and to generate publication and to enable patenting, etc. Now, starting from 2012 onwards, we are focusing on the strategy based or dedicated there in Qatar in these four different pillars: energy and environment, computing, information technology, health and biomedical, social sciences, arts and humanities. And as you may see, these pillars are broad per se, so from which we are extracting now what we call the grand challenges. And some of the grand challenges are indeed the genomic research. I'm going to show you later what we did in this respect. But a quick talk, few slides about the funding agency per se at the national level there. It's the Qatar National Research Fund. We fund research in all fields of science, from DNA all the way to space. We basically use the Frascati classification, the UNESCO classification of science. And again, this was in phase one. Phase two, now we are gearing towards solicited goals, something that is of national priority and mainly regional priority. So our funding programs have been set in a way to build capacity to help education and to allow investigator-driven research. We don't want to stop the innovation coming from investigators per se. Then we are moving towards the grand challenges, starting from 2012, and leading all the way to innovation, hopefully. So very quick information about the funds spent so far in these different programs, from the undergraduate research experience to the graduate student to the postdoc, to what you see in the second line, in the second row. That's the NPRP, that is the National Priorities Research Program, some of which allow international collaboration, some of which are dedicated to local students, graduate students, and postdocs. So far we are talking about close to $1 billion dedicated to research in Qatar, regionally and internationally. Maintaining quality is one of our major quality or pillars in a way. So over the years we helped building the capacity, as you can see, in terms of local investigators, moving onwards, which we call the movement of minds, one of our KPIs, to Qatar graduate student, postdocs, and even undergraduate students. You can see that all of the numbers are into the increase. Building the local capabilities, infrastructure, from moving from basically in 2004, 2005, there were no research whatsoever happening here, there in Qatar. Now we're talking about over 70 institutions, well equipped and collaborating with international leaders. And look at the bottom right side of the slide. That is our international visibility. So if you look, for example, at the, say, Canadian area, we're talking about 29 institutions collaborating with Qatari institutions in 81 projects. And you can apply that for the US and for the UK and for all over the world. That is an important international visibility which we are proud to highlight. And similarly to what Dr. Suwaida was showing, we are dealing as well with leaders worldwide. That's a mark of quality for us, and that's how we transfer the knowledge to them. Having said that, we never forgot the MENA region, the Middle East and North Africa. So here, the Arabian region are also collaborating. 203 collaborative institutions submitting to QNRF funding programs in different programs and going through the competition, where only 51 of which were awarded 118 projects. Some of the logos of the MENA collaborators. Okay, but if I zoom down to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia also, the colleagues here in Saudi are quite active for us. I'm showing here only the awarded institution, 5, who were awarded 15 projects, and there they are. King Abdulaziz University is one of them, KAUST, Dar al-Ulum University, Jeddah Institute for Speech, Hearing, and King Faisal Specialized Hospital and Research Centers. The next slide would provide you with a few of the titles where I intentionally selected to meet the topic of this conference. So genomic studies, genetics, DNA, all, within all this field is highly important to us, and you could see that quite a number of projects have been funded in that area. Now, that's basically to say that currently the ongoing process allows for you to collaborate with your colleagues in Qatar and internationally, and we'll be happy to support that should your proposal meet a certain quality. Now, a month ago, we launched one of our new calls with some colleagues in Qatar, and it's open for international collaborators. And I highly encourage you to look at that call and to contribute. It's called Path Towards Personalized Medicine. As it stands, it might look quite broad, but the aim and the objective of the call are really to support and benefit from the pilot phase of the Qatar Genome program, which started a year ago, train the next generation of young scientists, and support expert and research in genomic and genetics working at research facilities inside Qatar and integrated healthcare program. Now, we wanted to restrict the call for this session, for this edition, only for these 3 research priority areas: follow-up studies on Qatar Genome Project, pilot sequencing effort, building definitive genetic and clinical epidemiological database for Qatar, and personalized genome interpretation. Now, having said that, the local capacity there in Qatar, it's not that high in terms of number, in terms of qualifications. So definitely we are looking for international collaboration in this topic. This is a first edition of the call. This is a long-term process that's going to stay for 5, possibly 10 years. Okay, so a little information about the call. It's up to 2 years on project basis, but we can lift it up to program basis. It awards up to $500,000 US per year, and it's also open for international collaboration. You can get more information on qnrf.org. So that was my last slide, but the message here, colleagues, is that international collaboration when it comes to QNRF and Qatar Foundation, this is not a myth. This is a fact. It's happening on a daily basis. You could see already the statistics. And let's face it, the problems and challenges of Qatar are almost the same in Saudi Arabia, and are almost the same in Kuwait, and almost the same in the GCC. And it does make very much sense that different teams put hand in hand and tackle these challenges. So you are very much encouraged to come and apply to QNRF in these programs. Now, having said that, we're not going to stay at the project level. Yesterday I had a very nice chat with Professor Al-Qahtani. Now we are lifting the thing up to program level and also to national level, a thing that we did before and we were quite successful. Thank you very much. I will be happy to chat with all of you later on. I wish you all success in this conference, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Omar. I think in just one sentence, it's very important that the resources are now pooled across the region and real collaboration is initiated. We'll move on to our next speaker, and I believe this is a milestone. She obtained her PhD from MRC Laboratory of Molecular Biology in Cambridge. She did her postdoc at Julian Lewis Lab at the Imperial Cancer Research Fund. Today we have her as a senior editor at Nature Publication Group. She has 14 years of experience in science publications. Her areas of responsibility as senior editor include genetics, genomics, NGS, gene therapy, biotechnology, and molecular evolution. She also has 6 years of research experience in academia. Experienced writer, speaker, and effective communicator, she is known to be a skilled negotiator, mentor, and innovator. Is known to have expert knowledge of cutting-edge biomedical science developments. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly welcome Professor Magdalena Skipper.
Thank you very much for this very generous introduction. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, gentlemen. I do not have any slides for my presentation, so this is not a technical glitch, the fact that you can't see anything there. I just wanted to invite you to think a little bit about the subject of this conference, and more specifically about genomic medicine. So I'm taking you a step up out of the very wonderful presentations that you had just before me. So you heard in the introduction that I spent quite some time working at Nature, so it's perhaps fitting, both because of that and because of the subject area of this conference, that I start by saying that it's been more than 10 years, in fact almost 15 years, since the draft of the human genome was published in Nature and in Science. And if you think about it, since then, the sequence of the human genome has transformed not only the way we do science, it has become dramatically much more collaborative than it had ever been, but importantly, it has transformed the way we think about disease, the way we approach its diagnosis, and the way we think about the treatment. In other words, the human genome sequence has really been transforming the way we do medicine. Precision medicine is a new term that has appeared in the public eye. Many prominent speakers refer to it. Others talk about personalized medicine. You heard my predecessor talk about it just a couple of seconds ago. But if you think about it, what is personalized medicine, what is precision medicine, really at its heart lies genomics. So arguably one can say that most of precision medicine is really genomic medicine. So of course this is the topic of the conference for which we have come today, and we will be here for it tomorrow. It is the focus of the research of the Center of Excellence in Genomic Medicine Research, our host for the conference. And indeed, the reason why I'm standing here before you today is because I am here as a representative of Nature Partner Journals, a relatively new program from Nature Publishing Group, because we have recently launched NPJ Genomic Medicine, a new journal which is launched in partnership with CEGMR. The reason we have launched this journal is because we, both CEGMR and Nature Publishing Group, the Nature Partner Journals, strongly believe that genomics has a key role to play in medicine, in its advancement. Let me illustrate it with a couple of examples from the direction of research that is pursued here at the Center of Excellence in Jeddah. I just wanted to pick on a couple of examples. The first one is, of course, one of the areas of focus of research here is the study of cancer genomics, most notably breast, colon, and blood cancers. I think few would argue that it is within oncology that genomics have really led the way. Genomics has helped us understand the etiology of cancer, has shown us how heterogeneous the disease is, and on the more translational end of things, it has helped us to understand metastatic disease, but then of course, most importantly perhaps, what can underpin development of resistance to treatment. In this case, cancer genomics is perhaps the sort of poster child of application of genomics in medicine. Perhaps one other example that goes hand in hand with it is, or another example of good application of genomics in medicine is, of course, early childhood disease diagnosis. The second example I wanted to pick out of many types of focus within the Center of Excellence here is pharmacogenomics. So pharmacogenomics, if you think about it, is actually probably the earliest example of application of genomics in medicine, where our understanding of human genetic variation has allowed us to minimize drug toxicity, but at the same time maximize drug efficacy. The types of research that I've just talked about, of course, don't just take place at the Center of Excellence here in Jeddah. They don't just take place in Saudi Arabia, but they go on all over the world. And there's a very good reason for this global, but at the same time regional focus of this research. Of course, we understand that there is variation in disease prevalence and disease severity in different parts of the world. And now we understand very well that much of it is down to local genetic variation. So it stands to reason that it is important to study local populations if we are to understand and effectively treat disease throughout the world. So the couple of topics that I mentioned already, along with other areas of focus such as neurodevelopmental disease, complex diseases such as, for example, diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, the kinds of diseases that tend to affect increasing proportion of the world's population. All of these diseases with genetic basis are the focus of interest in NPJ Genomic Medicine, the new journal which we have launched together with the Center of Excellence here. This common interest unites us, and both CEGMR and Nature Partner Journals very clearly see the fundamental role that genomics has to play in the advancement of medicine. in our understanding of disease, how we're going to diagnose it, and how we're going to treat it. The journal itself will launch its first content in January, and I can assure you that we have some really rather wonderful content in store for you. While you have to wait, in the meantime, I very much hope that you will enjoy this conference. I know I will. So thank you very much for inviting me. It's been a real pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Magdalena. It's a privilege and honor for us to have you here. We'll move on to our next speaker. He's a PhD from Michigan State University, US, and in 2015, recently appointed as Vice Executive President for Medical Devices at Saudi Food and Drug Authority, SFDA. Also, he's Assistant Professor of Electrical and Biomedical Engineering at this university, board member, Saudi Arabian Standard Organization, SASCO, he's the president of Saudi Scientific Society for Biomedical Engineering, and has got several publications in line, mostly to do with instrumentation, signal processing, innovation, and creativity. He also initiated in a big way a program for the young gifted students from high school in this university and in Saudi Arabia. He has a blog which says, "Be the change you would like to see in yourself." Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Nazih Al-Uthmani. Please.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, I can still say good morning, everyone. Pleasure to be here. Thank you, Dr. Adil, for this presentation. I'll be talking today about an initiative we are currently launching at Saudi FDA. I've recently became the Vice President for Medical Devices, and one of the let me say the comments we usually receive is that medical devices and chemicals coming on borders for research purposes are delayed from custom clearance. So the Saudi FDA, in an effort to support the research in the kingdom, we're launching a new initiative to expedite clearance of these products. And I will be sharing with you some glimpse on what are we proposing to do, and then we'll be asking your help in evaluating the new module and your feedback. The Saudi FDA, just to give you an introduction on what Saudi FDA does, there was a royal mandate to establish the Saudi Food and Drugs Authority. It has 3 sectors, food, drugs, medical devices, and our role is to regulate these food and drugs and medical devices that are coming into the kingdom. And we try to do so through many programs and through many initiatives. There are several royal mandates and several decrees and several decisions by the Council of Ministers that regulate these things in the kingdom. Most of these things are available on our website, and you can browse through them if you are interested. Now, the products that go under the medical devices, regular medical devices, IVD devices, laboratory equipment, lenses and opticals, contact lenses and solutions, electronic devices emitting ionizing radiation, and laser equipment intended for non-medical applications like cosmetics and these things. So all of these devices fall under our mandate, and we try to regulate them. So what do we do? The pre-market state, the pre-market phase, factories, international factories, through legal local representatives, are to submit their technical documents and technical data, clinical trial data to the Saudi FDA before their product enters to the market. We do technical evaluation to the material they are submitting, and if everything falls okay, we give them something called market authorization. So this authorizes the international factory to send its devices into the kingdom. This evaluation takes
50 working days, at least. And by the way, benchmarking, if you, it's quite an average time for in authorities around the world. Once the market authorization is issued, the legal representative needs to request import license, an import license, and there is a submission, a process that takes place. It usually takes 5 working days. And then once the product arrives to customs, usually in Saudi FDA, it doesn't take more than 1 day to clear it from the Saudi FDA. And after the product is released into the market, we have an intensive effort that calls post-market and surveillance, where we monitor the recalls from international bodies. We are following around 14 international bodies that issue warnings and recalls on medical devices. And once we realize that there is a warning about a device that exists in the kingdom, we go to the dealer of that device and we follow up with implementing that recall around the kingdom. We also receive warning alerts from local hospitals about their experience with local devices. And if there is an adverse alert, we issue an alert that is broadcasted in the kingdom, and sometimes it reaches internationally. Last month, we had a local incident about one famous ventilator. The ventilator, the nurse was plugging the ventilator into the outlet. However, there was no electricity in the outlet. So she thought that the ventilator was recharging when it wasn't. So the battery of the ventilator died. The battery of the ventilator died, and the patient was, unfortunately, was lost. We issued an alert about this, and this incident, from a local incident, became an international broadcasted recall on this model of ventilators that was recalled from all over the world, and it was said it was initiated from this hospital from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Last week, we had also another incident with some accessories of one of the devices where we found some insects inside the packaging, sterile packaging. Inside there were some insects, and a local hospital reported that. We took the report and we contacted the factory, and we realized that the whole batch from which this product came out was infected, and an international recall was issued for this purpose, and this product will be withdrawn from the market all over the world. So this is something we try to do. We also do market surveillance. We go visit hospitals. We check for quality assurance in radiology departments. We visit the stores, Shari' Muhammad Fida, all the time, where people are selling these products. So we try to do these things to regulate medical devices around the kingdom, to ensure that no device enters into the kingdom without first verifying its technical data, technical claims. And you will be surprised to see how many false claims people are making about their devices. For example, all advertising material for any medical device or a drug must be approved by Saudi FDA before. So I urge you, next time when you receive a request at the Genomic Center for announcing any device or any drug, please ask them for the Saudi FDA approval. Because we verify all the claims that are made in that advertisement and ensure that these claims are intact and true, and there is supporting evidence to allow them to make those claims. Once they get it, then they can advertise. Now, there are many electronic systems. We try to be paperless system, and we are doing our best in doing so. So if you go to our website, there is the e-governance link, and it has a lot of programs, and each one has a specific duty and task. What concerns researchers is usually, there is no mouse, the MDIL, Medical Device Import License. Now, I'll be talking first about the current situation and what's happening and how the delay is taking place, and then I'll be presenting our proposal on what we are hoping to do. Currently, researchers, not researchers, a researcher wants a device or a chemical substance for his or her research. They need to go to the dealer who brings this material, and that dealer needs to go to a module called Medical Device Import License. Once they go to that medical device import license, they will find a page that has several modules in it. What matters is devices for research, down at the right side, devices for research use. So that importer needs to go to this devices for research use, and then the module will ask the importer to upload certain documents